general election debates, I know that, well, the only counterexample we have as to what happens when the presidential debates are a little more open is 1992, when Ross Perot got into all 3 general election debates. And he was only at 7% when they let him in the polls in early October. But he got 19.5% only a month later. And it's because he did so well in the debates. So just think what would happen. You know, this year there are 6 people running for president who theoretically could get elected. The Democrat and the Republican, of course. Nader, of course, he gets so much publicity. The Libertarian, Michael Bednarik. The Constitution Party candidate, Michael Peroutka. And the Green Party candidate, David Cobb. Now, we know 6-person debates work okay because we see them every presidential election in the primary season. In fact, this year we saw 9 people in the Democratic early debates, and then some dropped out and it got down to 6. It works okay. If we just had 1 debate with all 6, I think people would be fascinated. I think it would have the highest viewership we've ever had, or at least since 1960.
Yeah, I think that we would, and we should maybe, you know, some of those could be eliminated in the second one after that, you know. But I don't know if is the Green Party going to be on the ballot in most of the states?
Probably 33 to 35.
So the Libertarian Party candidate will be the one on the ballot in most of the states. Yeah. Okay. So what about here in California? We have Proposition 62.
Yes.
What is that going to do here in California?
If Proposition 62 passes and the courts uphold it, we will have the biggest setback to ballot access in the history of the state.
What will it do?
It will require all candidates to run in the primary, which will either be March or June. We don't know what the legislature is going to do about that yet. And then there would be no way onto the November ballot except by placing first or second in the primary. And we know what the results will be because California has had this kind of primary before. It's called a blanket primary. We had it in 1998 and 2000. The results of it back then weren't drastic because in 1998 and 2000, the top vote getter out of each party's list of candidates advanced to the general election. But we still had the same kind of primary ballot where all candidates get on the same ballot and all the voters use that one ballot. And we know in 408 examples, only Democrats and Republicans ever come in first or second in the primary. See, people aren't interested in minor parties that early in the season.
And on top of that, so the November ballot, in a lot of places you'll have a Republican against a Republican, a Democrat against a Democrat.
That will happen. It won't be as common as people think because you can look at the results in 1998 and 2000 and pretend if the rules had been like Prop 62. And for congressional races, I think there are only 4 out of the 53 one year. But the legislature will be somewhat more common. Yes, that's right. I mean, the irony of this is, suppose there's 6 candidates, say just 2 Democrats and 4 Republicans. And under this Prop 62 system, say the top one Democrat gets 23% and the other Democrat gets 22%. And then the other 4 Republicans split the rest of the vote. Well, here's a race where in the primary, 55% of the voters preferred a Democrat. But under the rules, because the Democratic field was a little more split up, the 2 Republicans came in first and second. So there'd be nobody in the November ballot but 2 Republicans.
So if one side wanted to sabotage the other, they could have some members switch and encourage more Republicans to get on the ballot to split the vote, and some of the places could switch, and it would have nothing to do with the popular vote. It would have to do with a political strategy on the other side of getting more people to run as Republicans or Democrats.
That's right. You could have these people change their party affiliation sometime before the primary, and then they would file, say a bunch of conservative Republicans switch to Democrat, and a whole bunch of them file just to split up the Democratic vote. Of course, it could work in reverse too.
Yeah, it could work either way. So it really would leave a lot of, for even more monkey business than we have now, I think. And also, I don't think it would last because I think there would be a lot in the state legislature where you go and you've got 2 Republicans to vote for, 2 Democrats to vote for, instead of a Republican and a Democrat, I think people are going to see that, and it's going to be voted back out the next time and thrown out in the courts.
The California poll shows that Prop 62 is ahead right now.
Oh, really?
But they've also learned that if you explain to people how it would work, and then you ask them again, the support for this drops to only 20%. So it's going to be...
So it's going to be it's going to survive, if it passes, it'll only survive 1 or 2 election cycles anyway before it's thrown out.
And we hope people will understand it before they vote on it. So
that would be good. I hope that that is the case. I hope that happens. I hope there's a lot of people watching this show and become, interested in learning about Proposition 62 and what it's going to do in California, because it's not going to last, and it's probably the last time we had an open primary, it was thrown out, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was thrown out by the Supreme Court.
Yes.
On what basis?
Freedom of association.
Doesn't that do this as well?
The proponents think they've conquered that problem. In fact, they're very cocksure about it. That's because of one little sentence in the U.S. Supreme Court decision that came out in 2000. But that sentence by Justice Scalia, who wrote the majority opinion, is very, very murky, and it's a matter of opinion.
But the Republicans and Democrats are against this, are they not?
Right. All 7 qualified parties in California are formally against this.
Okay.
This is probably the first ballot initiative in history where all 7 qualified parties, from American Independent to Peace and Freedom, and everything in between, I'll agree.
The problem is that with this is that I'm a libertarian. I should be able to decide who's going to represent me. Not somebody else from some other party deciding to vote for a libertarian. That's ridiculous. Democrats, Republicans, Independents should not decide. The
proponents try to claim it's just like our nonpartisan elections, but it's not. Because these are partisan offices. When we send people to Congress from California, that's a very partisan body, and there's nothing we can do to change it. And same with the state government, of course.
Well, thank you so much for coming out, Richard. It's wonderful to have your expertise, and I hope to have you on again someday, and we can talk about the results of the next election and what has happened. And for anyone out there who would like any more information about the Libertarian Party, you can join us on the web at www.lp.org, or you can call us toll-free at 1-800-ELECT-US, and we'll send you out a free packet of information. And the next time you are waiting at the post office for a half hour to buy 1 stamp, and if you can register to vote as a Libertarian in your state, please do. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Don't give up.